Tiffany would change, man. I just think she's a genuine person. I think, like I said, she's under so much scrutiny and attack that it gets rough, man. It gets rough.
WGN Investigates has new details on a South suburban politician's taste for travel. It's costing taxpayers a lot of money with few details about how it benefits the communities she serves. Credit card records show Henyard and her team have charged taxpayers more than $102,000 for trips they've taken in the past year. That includes a stay at the Four Seasons in Atlanta and a $13,000 hotel tab in New York City.
Somebody going to jail.
At this point, you would think that there's no way there are people out there still defending the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. After the FBI subpoenas, after all information has been coming out for the last couple of months, you would think there's no way we have people still loyal, still there to back Tiffany Henyard. But they're out there.
Listen to me with some reason here. It's issues on both sides, goddamn. Both sides got issues. It's not just one side. It's issues on both sides. Mediate the conflict first. Then you pass your judgment. That's all I'm saying. Black folks have been under the gun for centuries, man. Centuries. We condemn each other. We charge each other with a bunch of stuff out here.
In this video, we'll be talking about Jedediah Brown. He had a few of Henyard's supporters on his Facebook channel, and we're going to explore the question: why do people defend the indefensible? It's important to understand that we need to be transparent. We need to know what is going on with our politicians. And when that doesn't happen, it hurts us all. Being honest and confronting misuse of power is the first step to empowerment. The same goes with today's sponsor, Aura. Aura empowers you by informing you about who has your personal information and how to protect it. Did you know that there are people out there selling your personal information, like your full name, email, home address, even health records, and details about your family? It's a really scary thought that information can fall into the hands of scammers, spammers, and all types of unwanted attention. This is why you need to check out Aura. Aura is an absolute game changer. It's a powerful tool that provides comprehensive digital protection, alerting you to any fraud signs by monitoring billions of data points. Aura is packed with features like antivirus, password management, and VPN services to keep your devices and your personal information under lock and key. Plus, if the worst happens and you fall victim to identity theft, Aura's white glove fraud protection team is there to support you every step of the way, backed by a $1 million personal insurance policy for every adult member on your plan. And guess what? You can experience Aura's full suite of protective features absolutely free for 14 days. Don't leave your digital security to chance. Take the proactive step today with Aura. Sign up for a 14-day free trial and start your journey to a more secure digital future. The link to sign up will be in the description box below. Let's get into it. Have you ever wondered why people continue to support politicians, spiritual leaders, or public figures when there's just undeniable evidence that they have done something seriously wrong, even something illegal?
What's illegal?
You already posted illegal, sir, talking about
what's illegal?
You already posted.
Let's explore this interesting human behavior together. Talking about this scandal with Tiffany Henyard, it's a politician caught in a corruption scandal. The news breaks out, the facts are laid out, and there's always a group of staunch defenders waving flags and shouting with their undying support.
Are you a supporter of Tiffany Henyard?
Absolutely.
You
And
are.
I support Tiffany Henyard for what she's doing in the Southland.
What does this mean? Are they just crazy? Well, maybe. First off, we need to talk about the power of belief systems. When we choose to follow someone, it's not just about liking them. We're actually buying into their entire worldview, their morals, even their leadership style. These leaders represent a part of our own identity, almost like a personal brand, which we have invested in emotionally and obviously publicly. When evidence of their wrongdoing emerges, it creates a serious cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable tension when we feel we're holding two conflicting thoughts. In this case, it is, I believe in this person versus this person has done something terrible.
No one has brought substantial facts that she has done any corruption in office, any unethical thing. A lot of allegations have come forth, but not one shred of evidence, not one.
She has a illegal vehicle with police tags and lights that she was instructed to strip, and she still has that vehicle.
This is the thing.
That hold on, Chris, we're talking. That is illegal. That is literally unethical, and
One second, I'm listening to you.
it's hypocritical. So you said not one. I'm giving you one of the very basic bases, ones that my team has found. Does that affect your perspective?
I want to say this, yeah. Here I come right now. I'm getting me some coffee together. I want to say this, Jen, and I want to be very clear. Not only did Tiffany not know she was doing something wrong, nobody in the general public thought anything about it, except for the big wigs in Thornton Township.
Admitting they did something wrong isn't just changing an opinion about them. It means admitting to themselves that they made a huge mistake in their judgment. And that's tough to deal with for many of us. It's just easier for us to dismiss the evidence or rationalize the wrongdoing than overhaul our entire belief system. We're going to try to answer this while we check out some clips from Jedediah Brown's stream. We want to focus on two of the big Henyard supporters, Keith Price and this man called Chris Moore. For what I saw, it's men who were upset, just like Tiffany, with the previous administration, the previous boss of the Thornton Township.
What I will say is people that sit on this board, and I'm speaking of trustees unwanted that just spoke, and said nothing or did nothing when Frank Zuccarelli was the supervisor.
Oh, damn.
They have grievances with him, and it seemed like they shifted grievance towards the former township supervisor, Frank Zuccarelli, and put it into their loyalty to Tiffany Henyard. It's kind of odd, but when you watch the video, they care more about what Frank did compared to what Tiffany's doing now. Check it out.
Under Frank Zuccarelli's tenure, you didn't get these services. The picture speak 1,000 words. You can go back to all his services. You're going to have a little white lady getting on the bus. He did everything exclusive. What he did do for black people, he did get them jobs to serve the white folks.
If he was on the Z team. Now, I found out that he took great care of his people. But it was also a lot of people that he was behind sending attacks at, trying to take them out their political spots.
When I listen to Chris and even now I'm listening to you, it really doesn't sound like you all are, it sounds like you all are more against Zuccarelli than it is supportive of Tiffany Henyard.
No, I wouldn't say that, but what you would have to understand is there's been a lot of people that were supporters of Zuccarelli that have been Willie lynched into hating a Keith Price or Anthony McCaskill or that was the thing. People used to get threatened with their jobs if they were called speaking to me or things like that, because I always went up to called out things that I didn't like at that township. The work that I see and the things I've learned, especially dealing with food boxes or putting literature into senior gift bags, the things that you should not have been doing, it was never called out. It was never, and he was a powerful man.
Now let's add another layer to this, the identity and community. Our social circles often share our beliefs and support the same leaders. Admitting that your leader is flawed and terrible and incompetent can feel like betraying your community. It's a real fear by changing our stance, we might lose our place within this social group, whether it's friends, family, or an entire community. The social bonds tied to shared beliefs are incredibly strong. So defending a terrible leader like Tiffany Henyard can sometimes be more about preserving these bonds and less about the leader themselves. Basically politics. It's plain politics. These two individuals care more about the politics than really the people. They're worried about their positions in the hierarchy. They care about throwing distractions about what the previous guy did compared to what the current person is doing now. They have old grievances, old personal beefs that is more important than all the people that Tiffany is hurting right now. Think about it. Then there's always the fear of uncertainty and change. When you think about it, if we decide to pull our support from Tiffany Henyard, what happens next? Who replaces her? What changes will this bring about? This uncertainty can be scarier than sticking with the current, flawed, terrible leader. It's a classic line, better the devil that you know than the devil you don't. Removing a leader, especially one intertwined in the identity in the community, can lead to an unpredictable outcome. And for many, it's simply easier to maintain the status quo. And moreover, change requires energy and effort. It's not just admitting that you were wrong, it's about mobilizing for change, advocating for replacement, and sometimes rebuilding systems and structures. That takes a lot of work. And frankly, it can be overwhelming. Sometimes people choose to hope that not everything is as bad as it seems, rather than to face the task of creating true change. And this is where things get even more complex. There's something called the sunk cost fallacy. It's a trap that we fall into when we continue to behave as a result of our previous invested resources, like time, money, or effort. You ever went to a movie and it was really, really awful, but you actually stayed to the end just because you paid for the ticket? Then you experienced this. Like watching the movie Soul Plane. When we defended someone publicly, admitting that corrupt or immoral would mean that all of our previous support was misguided. It's not an easy pill to swallow, and especially if your ego is too fragile.
You're talking about Frank Zuccarelli left Harvey in shambles. Frank Zuccarelli helped Harvey more than you could ever imagine. For you to ever have to put your
mind over there.
Hold on, Chris. Let's let him speak. Chris, let him speak. Chris, let's let him. Chris,
who don't like you?
can we let him speak? We're gonna let you speak.
Cause I ain't gonna let you sit here and glorify this hockey who this city over.
Chris.
He the school district over and he the city over.
But I also want to talk about this strategy that her supporters and Tiffany Henyard herself is using to try to use distraction and blame shifting as tools to deflect from her own problems. Think about it. Instead of addressing the allegations head on, they often shift the blame to the previous leader, the guy who passed away. This strategy of blaming someone who can no longer defend themselves not only diverts attention, but also complicates accountability. This blame shifting is a common tactic in political and leadership scenarios. It's about directing the public's focus away from the current issues to past grievances, especially when the past leader can't even respond. It serves multiple purposes. First, it keeps the current followers untied as it reinforces a common enemy or a past villain. Secondly, it stirs up all emotions, making it harder for the public to focus on the present issues. Henyard's approach also taps into the collective memory and biases of the community. By bringing up past misdeeds from a former leader, her team creates a combative narrative. It's not just about defending Henyard, but about painting her as a lesser of the two evils. This comparison can be particularly effective if the past leader had a controversial tenure, as it makes her current missteps seem less severe by contrast. And let's be honest, from everything I've researched, there is no way that the last person could be ever as terrible as what Tiffany Henyard is doing now. The things that she's been doing now is internationally known as an incompetent, vindictive, terrible leader. So they're even trying to say the other guy was worse falls on deaf ears. Most people are not falling for it, except for the very loyal few. And seriously, using a man that died, an individual that's deceased, as a scapegoat means there's no risk of a comeback or a counter argument from that person, making the blame game safer and more convenient. For Henyard's followers, that this strategy also aligns with their cognitive dissonance. It's easier to reconcile with her flaws by believing she is still better than the person that deemed worse in the past. But what does that mean for us as observers on the outside, especially myself? It just underscores the importance of focusing on the facts and remaining vigilant against these manipulation tactics. Hopefully for the people in Dalton, it's important to question narratives that are designed to redirect your attention. We must learn to recognize when emotional manipulation is at play and insist on accountability in the present rather than getting sidetracked by historical comparisons. But I would say for the most part, 95% of the internet, when I see the comments, I see responses, when these men speak, everyone is basically laughing. It's not working. The FBI is hard on the case. They would not be there if there were not significant, credible evidence that this person has been doing a lot of illegal things. No one is perfect. The last couple of days, I've talked to people in Dalton. No one there is an angel. No one's perfect. But to pretend that Tiffany Henyard is just another part of the group She has been so bad. There is really no reason to defend her. But there's those people who are tied financially to her or just blind loyalty to her. They're going to ride this until the whole ship sinks. Good luck to them. But what do you guys think about what's going on? What do you think about these people who still defend Tiffany Henyard? Put in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.